25 tonight, but I know you're mostly down for those 2 charges you took overall. What did you think?
You know, a lot of good things. The start of the game, then I liked the way we started the third quarter. Same thing, the unselfishness, and it starts with him when he gets us going, and we can get stops and get up the floor and then share the ball. Then the game becomes easy for everyone. You know, and I thought our starters played really well. I thought Jules got going in the third. RJ was terrific throughout. Mitch, you know, protect the rim. Evan made plays, got people going. So, and then I thought Quick came in, gave us great minutes. Derek played really well. Deuce played really well. So we had a number of guys come in and play well. And now look, it's the first preseason game, so we're not going to get carried away. There's a lot of things we have to clean up and get better at, but it's a good first step, gives us a baseline of where we are, and there's a lot of work for us to do going forward.
More specifically, Coach, you know, you were saying you're looking for chemistry, how these guys play off of each other. Specifically, what were some of the things that you saw that you liked?
Just making simple decisions. It's like you have 27 assists, share the ball, you know, make quick decisions, don't over dribble. Let the offense work for you, and then when you play like that and everyone's making quick decisions, the game becomes easy. But if we're over dribbling, and you know they did, I liked playing this game because they did a lot of switching, so it gives you opportunities to work against that. And you know there were some really good moments, and there were some moments obviously that we have to clean up.
When you watch Mitch play and then you bring in Isaiah, you've got a lot of flexibility there with their different strengths. What do you like about the combination of having either or?
Yeah, and both guys have been terrific in training camp so far. Mitch has really put a lot of extra work in, and I think the game has slowed down for him, but he's playing really well. He's standing out in practice all the time, and Isaiah has fit in seamlessly, and he can play away from the basket, and so it opens up the floor a little bit for our cutting game, driving game. So it's different looks, but defensively, the rim protection is really good. And, you know, Mitch putting pressure on the rim, that's special. I think he's the best offensive rebounder in the league. So he's, you know, and he's grown quite a bit. So very pleased with his progress.
McBride with the 6 steals. I know last year he played probably just as hard, but does he see things a little better the second time around this year?
Yeah, I think all guys do. The more experience you get, that you know your opponent a lot better. You know the guys you're going, but his gift is his defense, physicality, competitiveness, anticipation, seeing things early, and that I thought the ball pressure from Quick and Deuce really got us into the open floor, and that gave us a big spark. So, and the beauty of those guys is they can play together. And it speeds up the game. I thought Derek gave us really good minutes in the minutes he had as well. But those guys, they go at it every day, and you know I thought Quick was terrific.
Derek only played 5-6 minutes. Was that by design going into the game?
Yeah. You know, like the way and I wasn't quite sure, but I wanted to get more minutes for Deuce too. So, and you know I know where he is, and so. You know, it'll get increased as we go forward.
I know it's just one preseason game, but was that sort of exactly what you expected Jalen to provide you guys?
I did.
Yeah,
and I think that's who he is. I think Jalen can provide whatever you need. So if you need him to do more scoring, he can do that. If you need more playmaking, he can do that. If you need him to, you know, create pace and create movement, he can do that. You need a big three, a big shot, he can do that. But I love the way he can control and manage the game. And to me, that's the number one function of a point guard. So he doesn't get sped up, he doesn't get rattled. And, you know, and I love like Julius, the third quarter was terrific. You know, so I think it's a calming influence. I think RJ played a really good game, but they all played off each other really well.
Best offensive rebounder in the league. Is that something comes instinctual to him? Is that something he learned over time?
Probably a combination of both. I think the one thing that probably helped him quite a bit was not this summer he put a lot of work in, but 2 summers ago he really couldn't do anything other than lift, right? So I think the strength component really helped him. Like he finished through contact. He's not getting knocked out of the way. He's incredibly strong, and he has great anticipation. And hey, he's a freak athlete. The things he can do are special. So, he goes after the ball, and same thing. Like if you just throw it up near him, he's going to finish for you. So I think the pressure on the rim, the offensive rebounding, those things are invaluable. Just a sprain, and then it'll be re-examined tomorrow morning. So
Did he get in contact with the referee? Is that what happened?
I'm not quite sure. It looked like something happened down there when it was like a transition play. So I don't know, what transpired.
It's a strike angle.
Yes.
With Jalen, obviously, you knew him in a different capacity for so long before you came over here. Has there been any adjustment period for you, being his coach as opposed to a more casual relationship prior to that?
No, because the thing is, just knowing him the way I do know him, and having been around him, and I think his father has really coached him hard his whole life. So, and he wants to be coached. So he has a great demeanor. I think the way he communicates with his teammates helps our team communicate with each other. But he's all about the team. The only thing that matters to him is the team and whether we win or not. And so when you have that type of leadership, and the fact that he comes in and he does all the right things, he doesn't have to say anything. His actions do all the talking.